The title of this show is The Truth About Jimmy Garoppolo. We've been hearing some kind of weird narratives about Jimmy and the 49ers recently, and it's time for us to set the record straight. Jesse, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm ready for the show. We'll see how the chat room is ready for the show because I'm coming hard after Jimmy's neck. So we'll see how they feel about it.
I mean, we don't mean to be gratuitous to Jimmy, but we gotta deal with reality here. That's the point.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that the narrative going around Niner Nation is that the Niners traded up for Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured and they needed some insurance.
Absolutely.
That they traded 3 first-round picks just in case Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured. And I find that to be preposterous. Jesse, would you like to expand on that?
Yeah, man. Okay, so everybody says that exactly what you said, that the only reason that they're moving on from Jimmy G is because he cannot stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And I disagree with that. I mean, you can just see that in Shanahan's body language, right? The way that he talks about him, the way that he rolls his eyes, the frustration. Yeah. I mean, it shows up all the time. And he even said it out of his own mouth that he is or was depressed when he didn't get Kirk Cousins for a few days. So this isn't the guy that he's wanted. It's the guy that he's had. Yeah. And so I decided, listen, you put out a great poll yesterday on Twitter. And the poll was, who should be the starter week 1? Who won that poll?
Jimmy.
Okay. What was the percentage?
About 55 to 45.
Okay. How many votes did you have on that?
Good question. Hold on. Let me get that real quick.
I mean, I would imagine 1,000
more
plus.
Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely.
Okay. So it seems like most 49er fans would prefer Jimmy to be the starter. And I don't understand that.
2,700 votes.
2,700 votes and 55%. Okay.
56%.
56%.
Yeah.
All right. Some late mail-in ballots, I see.
Yeah, I would say so. He got the Biden treatment. Yep.
All right. So a majority of the 49er fans think Jimmy G should be the starter week 1. And I just don't understand it. So I decided to dive a little bit deeper. I didn't want to look at the seasons that he got injured. I don't think that's fair, right? Because the whole point here is to prove that he wasn't the best quarterback when he was healthy, not when he was injured, right? And so when I looked at it, I looked at his 2019 season, his best season, okay? Mm-hmm. And the Cardinals that year were the worst pass defense in the league. Let me tell you some of the numbers that the Cardinals gave up that year. Mm-hmm. 4,510 passing yards, 38 touchdowns.
Oh my God. 7
interceptions and 71% completion percentage. Oof. If the Cardinals defense was a quarterback, they would have won MVP that year. That's how bad it was, right?
I know where you're going right now. So you're saying he put up a bunch of good numbers against Arizona. You take those out. What were his numbers?
All right. So numbers versus the rest of the league. 231 yards passing per game, which is anemic.
Oof.
20 touchdowns, 20 total touchdowns, and 18 total turnovers versus the rest of the league.
No way.
Yes.
He lit up Arizona that year, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He had a 424-yard passing game. I think he had 8 total touchdowns against them. Yeah. You take those games away, and he's not a very good quarterback, right?
Yep.
So let me take it a step deeper because a lot of people have this narrative that the offensive line has not been very good. You get Jimmy a good offensive line, he'll be good to go. Mm-hmm. All right. So that season, he had 2.4 seconds pocket time. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Would you consider the Saints on average? Yes.
Yeah.
Would you consider the Saints last year and the Colts last year good offensive lines?
The best of the best. The best of the best. Yeah.
The Saints last year gave up 2.4 seconds on average. The Colts gave up 2.3. Jimmy G in 2019 had 2.4 seconds, which is right in line with those guys. Okay.
Yep.
Jimmy G also took 36 sacks that year. I look at Ben Roethlisberger this year. Again, a very similar passing offense. They don't throw a lot downfield. Okay. He only had 2.1 seconds, which is much less than Jimmy. He took 13 sacks.
Yep.
Almost a third of the sacks that Jimmy G took in 2019 with less time in the pocket. Jimmy G is proven to be a very slow decision maker. And when he does make decisions, they're not good ones. Okay. Right. So I'm going to go even a step further. Jimmy G in 2019 had the second lowest intended air yards per attempt at 6.5 yards of any quarterback that played at least 10 games that season. The lowest was Drew Brees, and we all know what happened to Drew Brees' arm. It's shot, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that year, with the second lowest intended air yards, he was the fourth highest in interception ratio in the league.
Whew.
Explain that to me. How are you not throwing the ball downfield, yet you're turning the ball over at an astronomical rate? And just to be clear, this interception percentage out of your passes, it removes tip balls that were picked. It's only balls that you threw that were bad passes. If the ball got tipped and it was a good throw, that gets completely removed from the equation. He was the fourth worst quarterback in the league at turnover rate, even though he's not throwing the ball downfield. That blows my mind. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is, well, every quarterback, when they tear their ACL, they wear a brace forever. It's a mental thing with Jimmy. Teddy Bridgewater shredded his knee way worse than what Jimmy did. Where's his brace? Right. You see him wearing a brace?
No.
I don't. Listen, he's not the same player that he was in 2017. And even if he was, I'm sorry. I love Jimmy G. I loved him in that 2017 run. I thought he was going to be the future. But if you really go back and you look at even that 5-game run, it wasn't very good either. Jimmy G is a turnover machine. And if we're worried about Lance as a rookie being able to process and all these other things, Jimmy G cannot process. I'm going to throw one more thing at you. Jimmy G that year in 2019, out of 3,900 passing yards, 1,438 of those came from play action. Jameis Winston, who had 5,000 passing yards, only 1,133 came from play action. So if he doesn't have a play action game, Jimmy G is dead in the water. Absolutely dead, because he's not mobile and he can't make off-schedule plays. Jimmy G not only shouldn't start, Jimmy G should not be on this roster, period.
I can go further. I mean, the reason that he has made all this money and that he has the mystique that he has is because he started his career 16-2. It's remarkable.
Yep.
16-2 is fantastic. Now, the first 7 starts came when he was on the rookie deal, when he was cheap. Then he got paid. Then he went 1-2 in 2018. It was a catastrophe. He tore his ACL. It was a bad year. Who knows what would have happened that year had he played the entire year?
Yeah.
Comes back in 2019, starts the season 8-0. It's remarkable. But you go back and look at some of the teams he beat in that streak. I mean, some of the quarterbacks. I mean, they're all backups. Jameis Winston, Case Keenum, Kyle Allen, Mason Rudolph, a lot of backups.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, he's 10-7. And his quarterback rating the last 12 starts is 89. And when you start looking at it that way, like the same thing happened to Jared Goff. Jared Goff was very successful. He won a ton of games. His numbers were great, but it was always a product of Sean McVay, the scheme, the coaching. And once Jared Goff got a ton of money and some exposure to the league, defensive coordinators got a feel for what he does, got a book on him, because these coordinators are very smart and they get books on you. He was done. He was revealed to be a mediocre, limited quarterback who couldn't move and couldn't throw with bodies around him. And now, I mean, it's known what Jared Goff is. He's mediocre, and he's not worth big money. That's Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just the Niners had the realization 1 year later. He's just got the same kind of numbers, the same kind of win-loss record. If he gets this starting job this year, he's going to go about 10-7. That's what he does now. I mean, the Rams just saw this happen with Jared Goff. They went 9-7. They're like, let's give him one more chance. Then they went 9-6, and they're like, okay, enough.
Yeah.
Same thing's going on with Jimmy.
Jared Goff has more arm talent than Jimmy G.
True. Well, Jimmy can throw for more arm platforms, and with Jimmy can throw for more arm platforms and has a quicker release. Goff can throw outside the numbers and downfield. They kind of even out. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Neither one's that good.
You're absolutely right. And that's the thing, right? So one of the things that you said as you were breaking that down is that Jimmy G, the book is out on him. Trey Lance, even though he's a rookie and has a lot to learn, I'm not saying that Trey Lance is going to come in and be perfect. That is not what I'm trying to tell anybody here. But what I am saying is is that the book is not out on Trey Lance, and it takes the league a season to catch up. Give him his season. That team will be better this year with Trey Lance than it will be with Jimmy G. Period.
So let's finish up this topic. Why the real reason the Niners traded up for Trey Lance? It's not just that Jimmy gets hurt. It's that Jimmy is mediocre. Okay? He is the 49ers version of Jared Goff. And from afar, it was real easy to see what the Rams' problem was. It was Goff. He's not that good. He was a product of the system, and he's overpaid. They wasted 2 years with him after the Super Bowl. And the Niners are in a position where they wasted 1 year. They don't have to waste 2. They saw what the Rams did. They have the replacement on the team right now.
Yep.
They don't have to waste another year on this mediocrity. I'm not trying to be mean. It's what he is. The numbers bear this out. His reputation is built on his 16-2 start. It was remarkable. It's not coming back. He's never having another 16-2 stretch. He's a 10-7 ish 500 type of quarterback, the kind of guy you spend $8 million a year on. He's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
One more thing, because I know that people want to say, well, what are the 49ers record without Jimmy G? Look at what the other options are. Mullins and Beathard are borderline. And when I say borderline third stringers, I don't mean that because they could be second stringers. I mean that because they could be out of the league. So you're going from the 25th best quarterback to the 70th best quarterback, and you're expecting that there's going to be no fall off. There's a big difference.
Hold on. When he's gotten hurt, he's been the highest paid player on the team every time.
Yep.
Like in 2018, his cap number was like $30 million. You can't win when that kind of money goes to IR.
Yep.
Even if Nick Mullins, I happen to like Nick. I'm a Nick Mullins true.
I know you are.
And I felt like, if the Niners had gotten rid of Jimmy and built around Nick Mullins making $400K a year, he could have done a lot of what Jimmy did with a better team. But that's all I'm saying. When you put $27 million on IR, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You are screwed. That's why they lose when he's out, because it's crippling. His contract is an albatross. You can't afford to lose that. You can't afford to lose 13% of your salary cap.
I have two last questions.
Brian Hoyer sucks.
And he won with them.
He
won with, okay. You're right. Yeah. All right. 2 last questions for anybody that thinks Jimmy G should start. 1, in 2019, were you not scared to death every time that guy dropped back? Because I know I was. I thought a turnover was going to happen almost every time he took a snap from under center, right? That's the way that I felt. And that was when he was at his best.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I'll ask, let's remove all the stats that I just gave you, all the advanced stats. Do you think that Jimmy, deep down in your heart, is a sound decision maker who is also decisive?
Kyle doesn't.
I don't think you can answer that question honestly with a yes. And that means he has to go.
Kyle would say no. Mike Sherman says, what 49ers defensive positions will Trey Lance help? It's a strange question. I'll put it this way. All of them, because he'll improve the 49ers running game, he'll improve the time of possession, and he'll keep the defense on the sidelines. So,
I don't have the exact number, but I want to say out of his 19 turnovers that year, 13 of them were on the wrong side of the 50, meaning he put his defense in bad positions over and over and over. That's how Trey Lance can help the defense.